of a new week, and welcome to the state here on Wesleyan Television. My name is 𝗬𝗪𝗡. As always, it's a privilege to serve you, and this afternoon would really not be an exception. This afternoon, we're going to delve into an issue that borders on accommodation, that borders on shelter, and generally rents in general. We take a breather. When we come back, we get straight into the Blue Briefs, where we serve you with the fine details, or if you like, the relevant facts on the issue that we have itemized for this afternoon's conversation. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240 154825, or 0244 596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odeneho Kwadaso on the Kumasi-Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known.
Praise God, praise God. Christ in tea, you respond, yeah, addition. I'm excited to announce to you, friends in the Lord, are you seeking for a platform where you can pray? Ope baby apeso bompai. Na oni nyami edi inkita hon. Bibi chire oso. Ana amanye bi na bese nkum. And you come home. Let's go into the prayer room on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. to meet seasoned ministers of God that God has raised to impact your life. Remember, John Wesley said, I have too much to do, therefore I spend several hours in prayer in able to do it. That is why we are calling upon you. Meet myself, Reverend Hosea Osei, and the Evangelism Missionary Renewal Directorate as we lead you into the prayer room where we encounter Christ. And I believe your life will never be the same. Call your friends, your loved ones, every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. where we will encounter Christ. God bless you. See you on our screens on WTV every Friday 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. God bless you.
Don't come yo, don't come me. Ghana for Methodist Asafoma. WTV Enyamfienu 5 years. Hooray! Na enam emfienu mafidida. WTV ADNT. Or yet don't come me promo. And say, so we are Methodist Asafoma. Now our business. And ejuma ko bia wo pese obo ho dawura. WTV say, ye ba betwa ejuma ko no anaso wadwaton de no. Ya bo ho dawuro na wotwe mienu 2 weeks at the amount 500 Ghana cedis per. Ana wo betia. We eye kwan a WTV efa so e de ada wase say, what time the chi ama drum pempenswa ene wadru. Yanuti Methodist Asafoma mo wanwumaku a mo pesa mo bo ho dawuro no. Muntutu mrika na mo mra Fred WTV na ne mpanfo ni nkomo emfa don komi promo yi ho 0593 110733 ana WhatsApp 0256 253461. WTV, reaching out to the world.
To get into this afternoon's conversation. Don't forget that, as always, the state is brought to you by the Christian Service University. They say and insist continuously that they are the name where tertiary education is concerned here in Ghana. This afternoon, we're going to describe and engage a very important issue. I choose to characterize it as important because it affects almost everybody. Even if you're in the upper class of society, it's an issue that would knock at your doorstep. So here on W Briefs, we're going to just give you the, if you like, summary of the conversation that we have itemized for discussion this afternoon. Nobody sleeps on the streets, or really it's not a desire of, if you like, a normal citizen to be habitated on the streets. Everybody would want to be housed in a composed facility. But that has become a burden for a lot of citizens, because anytime you want to rent a facility, the landlords in our current dispensation will require an advance payment that normally exceed what the law actually states. So in the existing laws, a landlord, for example, is not supposed to, as it were, make rent demands beyond 6 months. But that is not the reality. And it is not only affecting individuals and perhaps young people, businesses are also suffering. And not long ago, we saw a press release by a concerned body lamenting that issue. But the good news is that there is a rent bill. Indeed, in November 2022, Cabinet approved a rent bill, which, if has been passed into law as of now, we are sure that all of these issues will be nipped in the bud. Unfortunately, after it was first read in March 2023 last year, little action has been taken after that particular point. And the bad news is that if this parliament dissolves, then perhaps we may have to start the whole process again, and that definitely will be tedious and extremely cumbersome. And so, from all indications, there is the need for the current bill to be passed into an effective law, so that maybe young men like myself who may want to, you know, have a small place and begin life may, of course, have it with all the ease and convenience. So that's basically the crux and the thrust of our conversation this afternoon. We're taking a breather. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest, and then we delve into the substance properly. Don't go anywhere. We are talking rent, we are talking accommodation. We'll be right back. If you just joined in, then of course you tune into the state here on Wesleyan Television, and this afternoon's conversation borders on the renting crisis in Ghana, if you want to put it that way, or Ghana's housing deficit. We're looking at the rent challenges that citizens have been experiencing across board. And to do us the honors of sharing varying perspectives, we have in our company Frederick Opoku. Frederick is the Secretary General of the National Tenants Union of Ghana. Frederick is connecting with us via Zoom. Hello, good afternoon, Frederick. It's a pleasure, it's a privilege to have you. Frederick, can you unmute so that we are able to hear you audibly here in our studios? All right, Frederick, sorry, I am struggling to hear you here, but I believe you are well connected. We'll resolve that in-house. Also joining us via Zoom is 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘. Rema is a social activist and someone who is passionate about the development of the country at large. Circumstantially, he's also been privy to some of the challenges of renting here in our local jurisdiction, Ghana. Rema, we are happy that you are able to connect with us this afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, Rema, if you could unmute and respond. I'm saying that we are glad that we're able to have you this afternoon. Well, here in studio, I'm also struggling to hear. I mean, two discussants, and so perhaps we should take just a quick break and then come back with the rest of the conversations. But yes, we have our guest, and the conversation would continue. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, hello?
Sorry, not sure.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
Get ready for a transformational morning experience.
𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 Shrine is here to build our spirituality, mental and physical well-being.
Through positive, inspiring actions and stories.
We bring you exciting activities and conversations that develop us as a people and as a nation.
We take a look at the trending issues in Ghana and the rest of the world.
And we also review the impacting stories from our local newspapers.
Every morning, we bring you stories of hope, change, and renewal.
We empower you through the Word of God and provoke you to live the purposeful life destined for you.
Join us, Anita Kwaku,
and the Reverend 𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘, Monday to Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we take you on an inspiring journey, live and exclusively on WTV.
You may also join us on Facebook at WTV Ghana and on YouTube at Wesleyan TV Ghana.
𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 Shrine.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
𝗟𝗓𝗪𝗘 Shrine is brought to you by
Danwell Insurance, Multi-Credit Savings and Loans,
and the Methodist University Ghana.
Meye mi fie Christian fie, mema mi kun aye Christiani, na me mofra aye Christian fo, mema mi fie aye Christian fie. Ban papam eye dwumadi a ekoso ewo WTV so. Ekasa afa ekwan a ye tete ye mofra. Ekwan a yebefa so ama yaware ayefe ne yaware edimu. Efie entete anase efie siesie ene efie nkomodie mu nso yenya entwenten. Entume to nsa frɛw sɛ hwɛ WTV na nneɛma pa bebree ɛwɔ WTV so enwumpa enkomodie papa nneɛma pa ɛbɛboa me ne omienu ene yemfie koswara na hwe WTV.
Oh boy, again to amambre ni amadi mu. Enti bibia ye se ye ebifo se ye Ghana fo yi. Ya amambre ni amadi ene kire.
Amamre. Free to take.
Ya amambre. Rantuma amambre. She ya tadia amambre. Se ya Christophonis ni amambre ni amania. Na yesu na kwakwe ahobo. Luti de man komporta kase. Susum ya profodia. Enfutisa. Yesu nyame wo ya amambre kwa so a. Yesu nyame se no wo ya amambre ni amanie kwa so. Ye kan ye Bible no a ye tiase wo ya amambre ni amanie kwa so. Mani sai agene. Bra. Na ye nwene. Inside agony and found some yummy.
Therefore, Adia Chimbio, your call ye na so, your could die, a radia domunti. Sorry. I'm a fracco musuku. You my force so called Omunyumaso. So soon da you, so one soon da you. Yeah, catch sorry, na shrink. Sorry, na shrink, Jumedia, no pabusu, Jumedia bia, ye de brain, said ye bear, ye bet me yini, oh, na ye or hunamu, nempo, etim yini, ewa adrenimu. Said ye bear, ye na betty me a chicher of mine. Na ya chichira safo. Na afi kra ye timi a chichira busia.
Ye behwe nsem a enkoso wo oman Ghana mu. Eni wiase afa na nyina.
Ye befa nsem yi afi ko ankrata mu ene abefo internet so.
Anape bia ye de nsem a ema enidaso ene insatwaye ebebrɛ. Ye de onyankopɔn asɛm bebrɛ. Na ya hweso e de aboye bra. Afei kan ye hu anape bia na ye mfa enigye nsem embrɛ.
Enunti afei kan ye ho
Anita Kwabo.
Any Reverend Ajika Vincent Agdomena. Ewo Wesleyan TV so. Afe obetimi ahwe on WTV Ghana. Ewo Facebook so. Na afe Wesleyan TV Ghana. Ewo YouTube so. Sorry na shrine.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
Jumadie aboafo bi te se
All Insurance, multi-credit savings and loans.
Ana Methodist University Ghana ana aso yasen.
All right, thanks for your patience. Ordinarily, we were supposed to connect with our discussants via Zoom, but unfortunately, this Monday afternoon, it looks like luck is not really on our side. So we are deferring to a phone call conversation. And so Frederick Opoku, like I intimated earlier, is the Secretary General of the National Tenants Union of Ghana. Hello, good afternoon, Frederick. We are happy that we are able to connect with you this afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, and we are happy to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm also happy to have you.
Right. We will also be speaking to Daniel 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓. Rema is a social activist and somebody who is particularly concerned about the rent issue here in Ghana. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓, please, can you hear us this afternoon? Hello, Rema. Okay, it appears we are not able to connect with Rema. But let me start with Frederick. He's the Secretary General of the National Tenants Union of Ghana. First off, what many people would appreciate as the challenge of renting in Ghana is the fact that lots of land landlords or property owners charge beyond the legal, if you like, boundary of 6 months, the rent advances that they take always exceed that period, that duration. Why do you think this particular challenge has festered, given the fact that there's even the rent control outfits that is supposed to ensure compliance? So there's a body supposed to ensure compliance, but deviation has been the order of the day. Why do you think we are at this point in the very first place?
Very well, my brother. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank you very much for the opportunity given to the National Tenant Union of Ghana, and by extension, all tenants across this country, numbering over 15 million people. Very well. As you may all be aware of, if you go into the law that regulates the activity of landlords and tenants, clearly you will find out in section 25, subsection 5, that it is not acceptable by law for any landlord in this country to demand rent advance exceeding 6 months. Unfortunately, there is a body you all know to be Rent Control Department of Ghana, which this law, Act 220/1963, that is the 220th Act of the Republic of Ghana, that actually brought into being the Rent Control Department of Ghana. And clearly, some of their mandates per the law are as follows. They are expected to ensure that landlords do not take rent advance exceeding the ceiling or the duration of 6 months, and that any landlord who dare demand rent advance exceeding the period or the time allocated or allotted in the law has fouled or has actually disregarded the rule. It's unfortunate that you see many a time landlords do not respect these rules. However, when they go to rent control, instead of rent control even asking them, first of all, have you been registered your tenancy? Have you actually registered your tenancy with us? These are the first legitimate questions if we really wanted to check the limit. But they do not do that. And this kind of, we don't actually really want to take landlord to account, has actually fueled the illegality and the way landlords actually disregard the rule and the law with impunity. Because after all, the landlord, which I believe or we believe have become toothless over the years, are incapacitated to do their work because they do not really go by the rules of the game.
Right.
Number two, if you go to the same rent law, in the mind of the framers of this law, they were of the belief that in order to check people, there is a need for every landlord in this country to go to rent control and ensure that there's an assessment of his premises. That means that wherever you have built your structure, if you intend that you want to plow business with it, you first of all go to rent control, invite rent control to come and do assessment. And rent control will look at the location of the premises, the fixture over there, and the location where the premises is located. And based on that, they will look at economic situation. And between you and the rent control, you can establish a recoverable rent that will enable all people actually to have a place to lay their head. Unfortunately, that important mandate of the rent control is what is regarded all the time. And therefore, landlords do not go to rent control, seek the permission of rent control, to invite rent control to come and do assessment, but they rather go on just in there to do whatever pleases them, and the law does not touch with them. Number three, the law states clearly that the rent control is mandated to set up a register of people, tenancies or people or landlords who have registered their tenancy, and more to the point, vacancies. If you are a landlord and indeed you do not have a vacancy in your property, you are expected to go to rent control, inform rent control that yes, I have 3 rooms at my place, and I want to leave it. Now the rent control will take the details and do the landlord meter, so that if me as a tenant I need a place, I rather go to rent control and also look into their archive and find out that okay, there is a place at 𝗟𝗵𝗲𝗦𝘁, there is a place at 𝗟𝗵𝗲𝗘, there is a place at 𝗟𝗵𝗲𝗘. Then we can establish contact between the landlord and the tenant, so that we can check the activities of nefarious activities of agents who take advantage of the loopholes of the law, who take advantage of the incapacitedness of the rent control, who do not even go really and do proper due diligence. They take advantage because rent control cannot do this. So agents are taking advantage of the law. At the same time, they are even charging the 5% rent fee or commissions rather that they are expected to take from the landlord, and they're even taking from the tenant because the rent control as a body is now unable to do what's expected by law and notification. So you are clearly understand that under Section 5, under Section 25, Section 5, the law is clear that no landlord can take more than 6 months, not to talk about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Today, if we look into our press statements, we were clear in our presentation. Even rent is killing businesses. Rent is collapsing businesses. Business owners who need to go out to rent a premises or a place to do or pay in their business have to go there and they cannot pay for this rent. Even some landlords are even charging illegal or Indian pay for goodwill, where they take millions of dollars. If you go to 𝗟𝗵𝗲𝗘, if you go to airport, if you go to Princess and other places, they are charging goodwill, and that goodwill is illegal. That goodwill will never be given any receipt. That goodwill is not part of the rent, and that is lawlessness. And the rent control department of Ghana is unable to check and bring them to book, and that is why you see the system or the industry full of lawless individuals who are applying to it, especially landlords.
Right. I've been listening to you for the past, if you like, 12 minutes or more, and I think I'm able to appreciate where you're coming from. Is this a situation of applicable laws not leading the reality or not trying to act? So what do you do as an association or as an organization, so to speak, apart from maybe bringing these issues to the fore? What more do you do? Because clearly, I, sitting here as a journalist, for example, I understand clearly how some of these laws are supposed to work. And I'm sure a good number of tenants even appreciates what the laws say. But if the laws are not enforced and you have an organization, what really do you do? Sure that, look, we get into an accommodation system or dispensation where every agreement between a property owner and a tenant is regulated by the law. What do you really do, or what have you been doing over time?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Frederick, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was making the point that,
thank you very much.
I get the crux of your submission. If basically it's about laws not being enforced, despite the fact that they are in place. So the question is, what do you do as an association or as an organization to ensure that really we have the laws leading the charge where tenancy and accommodation agreements are concerned here in Ghana?
Very well, my brother. Thank you very, very much. First and foremost, I can tell you that the National Tenancy of Ghana has been in existence for more than 10 years. And if you see our articles, our features, our activities, it will tell you even when you even Google. Number two, over the years, we thought that we needed to work with the authority that day. In fact, the National Tenancy Union do not believe in just cladding in red and making noise or going here and there, though it's our right to demonstrate, to show our unhappiness. However, we are of the belief that dialogue is a solution. That if we are able to talk to the power that be, the Minister of Housing, I can tell you, if you ask the past Minister of Housing, including 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 And now we are even intending to meet what's the name? Okonkoma. We do everything possible to ensure that we are able to meet them and let them understand. We have so many times even pleaded to Parliament that Parliament should even also come in and let people understand and appreciate the fact that Ghanaians are suffering and that the unenforceability of the law is killing people. We have also met even to the highest level and let them understand that housing is about bread and butter issue. So if you are not able to, build for the people, there's a need for you to do it. I'm telling you for the past 10 years, if you follow critically our presentation, our features, our article, our press statement, to appreciate that more than 10 years, the tenants have advocated. This time around, we have realized that the only language that our government understands is to flag out, is to flag the red, come out and demonstrate for them to be unpopular before they can act. We talk that we have been the situation. As we speak today, we have learned our lesson for not coming out to make noise with our numbers. If I even indicated that if you pick 9 out of 10 people, active population, 9 are tenants, and they cannot even rent or they cannot pay for their rent. If the tenant union want to do like Adam, we are more stronger than TUC and the rest. Because almost 95% of TUC members are also tenants. Likewise. But because of that, we need to engage, which we have done the engagement for the past decade, and we are not listening to us. So our decision now is to, as it were, take advantage of this political system to also let them understand that enough is enough. In fact, enough is enough. We are the same people who cannot pay our rent. We are the same people who are sleeping outside. We are the same people that our landlords are ejecting or taking possession of their property. And for that matter, you don't have policies and things that would enable us to also have peace. We are also going to take an influence position.
Frederick, please hold your thoughts briefly. I've actually been struggling to hear you from where I sit here because it looks like there are some technical challenges that is impeding audibility this afternoon. But let me come to your other colleague or discussant on this conversation, 𝗟𝗓𝗃𝗧𝗏. He also joins us over the phone. Hello, good afternoon, 𝗟𝗓𝗃. How are you doing? And it's a pleasure to have you this afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. I am doing quite well, but on subjects like this, usually they dampen our spirits a little based on our experiences on them and how it has messed us up a little. So, to your cherished viewers, we are here for them.
All right. So let's get into the substance properly. We all do know that renting in Ghana has consistently been an issue, especially for the fact that a lot of landowners, landlords and property owners normally make demands that exceed what the law allows, the allowable 6 months duration. What has really been your experience in that particular regard? And kindly reposition yourself properly so that we hear you, very audibly.
If you can take the question again, the line is very faint from my end.
Yes, I'm making the point. I'm saying that you have, I'm sure you've been in the thick of that difficulty before. What has been the challenge for you, basically, regarding renting and accommodation at large?
All right. So the tenants of renting in Ghana has a very different dynamic. And I think my colleague who spoke this morning failed to acknowledge a part or a standing pillar in the renting business. That is agents who serve as mediums between people who are looking for accommodation and the landlords. These agents are one of the reasons why renting these days are very costly and very expensive, and it is difficult for a normal Ghanaian to rent without going through a hassle or the headache. So the explanation with the agent is like this. I had an experience where a landlady had a 2-bedroom and wanted to rent it out. The landlady is well-to-do. She's okay. Everything is going on well with her. She just needed something small and needed someone to stay with her on a big compound. So she wanted to rent it out for 500 cedis and spoke to this agent. And the agent was like, 2 bedrooms in recent times, people are renting it out for 1,000 cedis and other exorbitant prices. I can get people who will readily pay that amount. So the deal was that the landlady says, I still want my 500 cedis. If you can get someone to rent it at 1,000 cedis, that is to your benefit. You can take the extra 500 that will come out of it. And, you know, we usually take 2 years. So you can take that money and then, you know, that is to your benefit. Surprisingly enough, within the space of 1 to 2 weeks, the agent was able to get someone who rented out the place. The system with agents too are that you pay 10% commission on the total money you are supposed to pay out to the landlady or landlord. Now, the landlady is ready to give this amount or ready to take this amount for a 2-bedroom, considerable amount, considerable pricing. But here lies the case, a very greedy agent in the business and has been in the field, knows what people are charging for these types of rooms, is able to convince the landlady, rents out the room at that amount. Aside that, you, the person paying, you are supposed to calculate 10% on, let's say, 1,000 cedis. So if I'm to pay 24,000 for a year, I'm going to pay a total of 2,400 to an agent. And this rent control systems and this tenancy law and all these things, they do not capture anything about agents. They do not talk about agents. But they are the main reasons why land and then renting issues have become very tough for the normal Ghanaian. They will first take what they call the moving fee. A moving fee of about 100 to 200 cedis, and you are supposed to be the one. You are supposed to be the one to pay for their transportation.
Rema, pause your thoughts briefly. What is the moving fee about? I mean, is it in any way, can it be likened to maybe transportation for them before they even start anything on your behalf? Is that the essence of the moving fee?
Not at all, Pakwesi. The essence of the moving fee is that they expect you to give them something as the fact that I'm just moving and going to show you rooms around. So a moving fee, and when you are moving with them, you pay their T&T. So the moving around, you pay. And the funny thing is, your movement fee is for 2 days rounds or 3 days rounds to embark with you. So I move you 2, 3 places or 4 places to say the moving fee na share. So if I get a new set of rooms and I want you to see again, you have to pay extra moving fee, and you have to make sure you take care of.
Hold on. So if the agent were to be taking you to, let's say, 5 different locations, you would pay 5 different installments of moving fees. Is that really how it happens?
So the plan they have, or what they usually do is, if you want a single room self-contained, they'll tell you, I have one or I have a couple of them. So on your first day, if you pay your movement fee of, let's say, 200 to 300 cedis, they take you round, you look at 2 or 3 rooms, and they know very well these 2 or 3 rooms may not fall into your specification. So all they do is, when I'm over, just have a look at it. Try and look at it. You can manage. If you go to these 3 places and they don't fall in your preference, what they tell you is you can go, they'll call you when they get another one. Now, when they call you again that they got another one, you have to pay a new moving fee to go and look at a new set of rooms they've got for you. That is the dynamics of the moving fee.
Let me bring in Frederick at this point. Stay on the line. Let me bring in Frederick at this point. Frederick, this is 𝗟𝗓𝗘, who is a social activist and, of course, somebody who has been aggrieved in the circumstances of seeking accommodation in the past. he said what many people, I'm sure, at home can resonate with: the menace of agents. The law clearly does not have a place for them. So why have they festered over the period? Why do we have, you see some of their billboards and signboards even in town when the law clearly outlaws them? Why are they festering?
Thank you very much, my brother. It is true that the law, not necessarily that law outlaws them. The law has some kind of speed for agents. But the law is very clear that every agent must get its commission from the landlord, not the tenant. And that they are expected to get 5%. It's not from the landlord and the tenant. The law doesn't allow that. But because the activities of this one agent are not regulated, everybody is taking opportunity and they have to do it. Because after all, the law does not work. The rent control, that is responsible. I was thinking that there should have been a tax force, and that anyone who intends to do this is not regulated. Quite recently, if you are aware of the Real Estate Act, the Real Estate Act is now well established. They are now being given an office to operate from, and the responsibility of them to check the activities of brokers. In this case, agents. All those who want to be intermediary between property owners, landlords, and tenants, the activities are now going to be regulated under the Real Estate Act. And that, to me, will bring some kind of sanity to the system. But I believe, in fact, that if indeed the rent control department was responsible enough, there is a space in the law that really states that now the rent control can serve as an agent in one way or the other. They can facilitate agency work to enable landlord and tenants to thrive. For example, if indeed you are a landlord, as I said earlier,
right,
and you have a space, you can easily go to rent control, then even register your premises, register that I have a premises that people, and everybody would have been going there. Unfortunately, today, as I speak with you, the rent control itself does not have offices. Rent control does not have offices. Presumably, they have had offices in all the regions, in all the districts, rather. We have about 260 something districts, and rent control today has less than 60 offices in Ghana. So how can you play the role as an agent as stipulated in the law? So for me, the issue is clear. All those who sit under the tree, just what agents sitting down and now getting people, and no matter who comes, people are agents. You must facilitate and meet the tenant from the beginning to the end. And any issue, any problem, anything that comes between the landlord and tenant, you cannot do and take your position and run away. If you are well licensed and regulated system, agents or brokers have the responsibility to ensure that if there's an issue or there's a problem, they must come in and support to ensure that you can actually fix certain things. But unfortunately, because they are not regulated, because nothing is, they are not under check, they ask for impunity. And the rent control too cannot do anything to stop them doing that. So hopefully, now that there is a rent estate act and there is a council, I think they are putting this together, and I'm hoping that the future will be good for all of us.
Right. Thank you. Let me bring in 𝗓𝗓𝗓 now at this point of the conversation. So, Rama, just for the purposes of clarity, Frederick is giving us a rather contrary information that in any case, the agents are entitled to a certain kind of compensation, but it's not supposed to be up to 10% as we know is popular and as you have experienced. Clearly, there is a breakdown of law. But from where you said, if we were to make the situation better, what do you think we can recommend, or what do you think we can do generally to make the whole accommodation space more convenient? even with operational officers, now it is apparent, prior to the time Frederick put this across, we already know that, of course, the rent control officers are not even, functional across many regions in the country. So really, there is a big issue at hand. What are some of the recommendations that you would put in place to ensure that we deal decisively with this menace? Hello, Rama.
Hello. So first off, I think that's a very solid question, and thank you very much for having this particular discussion. I've always held the view that if systems were properly working in Ghana, we may not find ourselves wanting like we do now. If you are building, if you have a building, you have a land, you are starting something, if you want to rent out, I think you need to be registered first as an institution, or more, if not institution, as a property owner. You register with a third institution or a third regulator. Now, when you register, these regulators would have to assess the quality of the room and the quality of the area, and then put a fixed price there, or a fixed amount. So it cuts across the entire country, or particularly some areas in the country. For example, Greater Accra, if you are renting out, let's say, a single room self-contained, excuse me, a single room self-contained, it cuts across that it is going for, let's say, a 500 cedis. Everybody must agree to that, because there are some areas you go, a single room self-contained, someone is ready to give to you at 300, others are ready to give to you at 800. Depending on the nature of the room. So we should have a regulatory body that will do an inspection of these various rooms, give a particular fixed price. For me, I don't believe in this policy of rent control and rent whatever system, because even with those systems, there will be some sort of corruption in there.
But how different is what you are proposing? How unique is it from the existence of the rent control? You are asking for effectively a supervisory body or a monitoring outfit to ensure that prices cut across, if you like. But there's a rent control department that is even supposed to be coordinating some of these affairs. So how is it different from what you are recommending?
Yes, so I am not going to recommend rent control like I've stated earlier, because in itself is a corrupt institution, or maybe a corrupt institution based on what I have faced with them before. So what I want to categorically state is that His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘, said he's going digital. There's something called digitization. So if we can tap into that wisdom and set up even things on, these things can be online. You can register your homes, your house, whatever, online. You don't need to meet anybody. You don't have to go through a process where there will be rigorous giving out of money, seeing someone backdoor. No, it shouldn't be the case. Recently, I wanted to acquire a meter for my residence, and I went through the ECG app, the newly created ECG app, and it was smooth, it was clean, it was clear. You don't have to do any backdoor major payments and whatever. You pay, you join the queue. When your time is due, they'll send you a message. You can make payments for your meter. When your connection time is due, you get another call. And that should be the system. If you are saying we are going digital, if this government is saying we are going digital, some of these things should be digital. As a landlord or landlady, if you want to rent out your institution, what you can do is you register for it online. When you register, an inspector will come, look at the quality of the room, and will send a report. And your room can be enlisted online. Just like the way people are selling things online. We don't really need an institution that would superimpose their will and will have personal interest within them, because the rent control,
the reason you are
go there.
From what I get, before I come to Frederick and we wrap up, from what I get, the reason you seem to be discarding the existence of the rent control is because you think that over the years they've not been very functional. So look, let's now create an online integrated system. If you are a property owner, you put up your property, interested parties would come and see the cost after, of course, the property has been inspected, and then the transaction is online. Nobody has to meet anybody physically for any, if you like, backdoor arrangements. That is essentially the point you're making.
Right, Pakwesi, that is perfectly explained, and I like how you've put my point out to the viewers. I'm good with that. That is all I want with our current system, because things are going, or we are doing things in that order, in that way. Previously, if you want to go to senior high school, your mother, your father would have to take you to the preferred senior high school.
Right.
You'd have to go and see the headmaster. Arrangements will be made. Now things have changed. If you want to go to senior high school, you apply online.
That's
the system will shuffle, look at your preference, whatever it is, and then will give you your school of your choice. Same thing with this system. We can develop a system where if I want a room, I can tell you this is my money, this is the areas I want. The system should give me an alert when there is a vacancy for any room, and it will be so solid. Because these institutions, these various institutions we are talking about, rent control, whatever, there is a high level of corruption ongoing there. I had an issue of rent where the landlady wanted me out of the house. You are supposed to give me a time span of 3 months for me to be able to look for a place for myself. And then if I'm unable to get a place, you extend the time, because you can't just eject someone like that. I went there, and because the person there is linked or has a relation with a rent control agent, the person filed and then had favor. And I was given a short time. Within 2 months, I was supposed to look for a place and vacate. And this is supposed to be an arbiter, a neutral arbiter to cases like this. And the systems are just corrupt. So like I was mentioning, if the vice president is telling us that he has digitized systems and is going to take us into the digital world, these are things or areas of extreme concern. And I'm very happy you are discussing that this afternoon. Extreme concern that we can tap into. These are areas that we can make sure things are okay for the normal Ghanaian, because rent issues are killing. You will be surprised to know someone can tell you this is a single room self-contained. I'm giving out to you at 800 cedis, but you need to share your kitchen, you need to share your toilet, you need to share your bathhouse, and it is going for 800 Ghana cedis. These landlords, these landladies, these agents, they do literally several renovations on these various rooms they rented out. But at the end of your stay period, you are supposed to pay an increment, because they'll tell you, Nyama Boyede. So Nyama Boyede, you need to pay an increase, whereas there's zero, absolutely no sort of a renovation, no advancement to your room, nothing. And it is killing. It is killing. Because if you are going to increase my prices, if you're going to increase my rent, I should see a significant change with the infrastructure. Something should be different. I should see that you have changed something with the infrastructure, something convincing. But here, like the case, nothing is done, and we are rather charged. And this is rent, rent control, they are not functioning. That is just it.
Right. Your points have been well made. I'm sure I'll come to you for some 30 seconds of your closing remarks. But Frederick, Fosu makes some suggestions that, even sitting here, I'm inclined to agree. He makes the case that since we have moved into an era of digitalization, we may as well not perhaps even forgo the rent control necessarily, but maybe even integrates the digitalization into renting and accommodation. Do you buy into those suggestions? And I'm also interested in your thoughts on government's rental assistance scheme. As a leader of the tenant organization or association, has it been any rewarding since the time it was first mentioned and discussed? Hello, Frederick.
Yeah, hello, yes.
Yes, can you hear me? Did you get the question?
I get you.
Yes, I'm saying, so do you agree with Ramaphosa when he says that we should move away from the manual and the human interface and get into a more digitalized arena? And also, I'm interested in your thoughts on the rental assistant scheme. From the point
very well.
Right.
Well noted.
Right.
You see, that was in first of all, the National Tenant of Ghana, that represents the voice of tenants recently. We are highly disappointed about the promises that have been given to tenants in this country by the National New Patriotic Party. Now, you are aware, when it comes to digitalization, one of the biggest challenges, or one of the biggest challenges of the rent control department has to do with a way that they can even have their system operating through digitalization. And we were happy when we heard Dr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗦𝘁, who had to promise to digitize the system and the operations of the rent control. He went there himself. And up to today, they are still using their legacy equipment, typewriter, and all those things. And we are shocked that they don't even take housing free in this country. More importantly, I am saying that if you look at the National Rental Assistance Scheme, the National Tenant Law of Ghana was part and parcel. In this case, we were not consulted when they were putting their framework together. That was very bad as a major stakeholder. But when they were about launching the scheme, the Minister of Housing, Honorable Francis 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗂, extended invitation to the tenant union as a body representing tenants in country for us to come and give a solidarity message. But because we also believe that this is the first time someone or a government is thinking that issues of rent advance has become an albatross on the neck of people or tenants, and they want to give some kind of rules or some kind of soft loan to top tenants who were able to even afford it and do that was better. So based on that, we under the invitation and we went and we were very clear in our feet. And we told them that we were expecting that they can even set up a task force. A task force that's like the affairs to do the sanitation task force, 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. If you go to the district and our community, if we are able to put together a task force that will ensure that even the landlords are paying their 8% rent taxes, when it is about we are for 15% when it's a commercial. Now you realize that we were thinking that these are some of the things that they have to look into. That they can actually generate more income or revenue to support housing, industry. Now, if you look at the rent assistance scheme, my brother, I can say authoritatively that it is a failed policy. It is a failed policy. It is a sham. It has failed, and it did not meet the purpose for which it was introduced. And I say it on authority, and without any fear for anybody. The truth is that, as we speak today, it was reported in the month of February that 1,492 people, after 1.5 years of the post-implementation of the National Rental Assistance Scheme, only 1,492 people have actually received their support. And that they have expended 19 million out of the 30 million domestic capital, which they to be. In fact, during the launch, we were made to understand that it's a pilot project and that they are piloting this project in state regions. But I can tell you for sure that we have even asked for the opportunity of those who have benefited, the beneficiaries, because we suspect seriously that those who are given that opportunity and have chance to also access that loan as to speak are not those who are really in dire need of housing. They are not in dire need of housing. I can tell you that they were categorical that they wanted people who earn monthly salaries. But because we raised an issue, they simply said, okay, if you have a momo, they can even go through the momo and accept. But they were 100% sure that if you are coming to me through or you are applying through momo, they aren't you take it seriously. Because they needed people who earn monthly salaries and they can deduct and get their money. But we were thinking that at any point in time, government introduced a scheme on intervention. It's actually, taking step or when to step out from the informal sector. The informal sector is easy. The informal sector is where many people, about 95% of the people who cannot rent can be found. But this intervention for the National Rental Assistance Scheme is not immune to the benefit of the market. Let the market again. It is for those who are even being paid with fat salaries, who are earning salaries, who are earning things for themselves. These are the same people who are actually having opportunity. And we believe that out of the 1,942 people who are benefited, I can tell you that if they want to publish it and want to do due diligence and do proper analysis, you realize that not even 1.1% of the people who benefited are informal people. And we are saying that since it is a pilot project, they shouldn't think of continuing it. They should bring everything to a stop. They should call stakeholder engagement. Let us all come together and, point out some of the challenges, difficulties of the thing. And we need to reintroduce it. So if I were them, if I were Dr. 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, if I were the MPP, I will never talk about the success story of the rental assistance. But for me, as it is a failure. We are so much disappointed, and I want to take this platform to plead on behalf of the union.
Your call has been.
I think we've lost connection with Frederick Opoku, but who was making some very cogent arguments to the effect that he thinks that the rental assistance scheme has failed because it has not met the intended objectives. And he's speaking from the place of leadership, where he coordinates the activities of many tenants here in Ghana. Let's wrap up with you, 𝗓𝗓𝗘, because we are actually behind time. In wrapping up, well, you have already made the case that we should import a digitalized, if you like, approach in dealing with the issues. Apart from that, is there any other recommendation? Otherwise, we'll be good to call it a wrap.
Right. So for me, like I've indicated earlier, aside digitization, I believe that the issue of agents should be regulated, and if possible, anyone looking for rooms to rent should try as much as possible to stay away from agents, because they play a very vital role in the increase of prices of rooms, and also the unnecessary pressure on rooms and landlords. They play a very vital role. If possible, they should have a group where they can be regulated, the amount and the fees they charge. You can't just look for a room for me, and when I'm going to rent, you don't know how much I'm supposed to pay, or maybe even if you are privy to that, you don't know how much I have in my coffers. I'm supposed to pay 10% extra of whatever I am paying to a landlady to you, where your only job was to get me a room. If possible, if we can put an amount, the fixed amount that you pay an agent 500 cedis or 300 cedis, they get you a room, and that is all. Because obviously their only thing to do is to go around and then fish out for available rooms and tell you there's a room here, go and have a look. That would be a better system. And also the issue of paying upfront 2 years for a room is killing. If possible, if landlords or landladies can make it a 1 year or a 6 month policy, or even a monthly policy, it will be workable. We would have people having places to lay down up their heads, and it will help. It will help generally the youth and then the aged as well.
Right. Thank you very much. We are happy that we're able to speak with you on this matter. But just before you take leave of us, regarding government's rental assistance scheme, do you think that it has served its purpose, and are you aware of it in the very first place?
Probably, I'm very much aware of that policy, but it is a shame to talk about that policy. And just as scholarship is in Ghana, it is a big shame. If I'm to delve deep into that particular system, you would marvel, and our listeners will be surprised at what this current government is doing to the general masses. Even for scholarship schemes that are supposed to go for the poor and brilliant or poor but needy child, it is going to the very people who are in power and their children. How much more government support on rental? It is.
I'm sure we'll have an opportunity That's fine. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to delve into this properly at another time, because it's certainly a critical matter. But we're grateful for your company, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. All right, so that was right. That was Daniel 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗂. He is a social activist and also a social activist and also an aggrieved citizen in that respect. Frederick Opoku also joined us, the Secretary General of the National Tenants Union of Ghana. It's been a pleasure serving you this afternoon. We'll meet again on Wednesday. Bye bye.